empty, need a centerpiece. 20 racks a table come from ebony.
What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. Welcome to the channel. Today, let's talk about this photo essay that I am very pleased to show to you today. So, this photo essay came about, I would say, in a few different ways, and a few different ideas were happening that just sort of mashed together to what you see today. First was still life. I was doing a lot of research on still life photography, and I wanted to try my hand at it. And I think still life is such a dope genre of photography, and really, I think it really does show the photographer's ability to speak to his audience and really speak to himself or herself. And I felt like I needed a piece of that. So I started conceptualizing still life and what it would look like if I did it. And I guess the default is you start thinking about a ton of corny shit, like I'm gonna go outside and pick up a leaf and some sand and a rock, and I'm gonna put it in a soft box or next to an orange, and then I'm gonna cut the orange in half and squeeze the juice all over everything, and then I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you guys are lost and you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But if you go and you just go to Google, just go to Bing, because, you know, Microsoft forever, and you type in still life, you'll kind of understand what I'm saying. Still life is something that's all over the place. But for me, when defining it for myself, I kind of just came back and said, okay, still life is really about giving inanimate objects a voice and having them, you know, your narrative is really the composition, and the once the composition is set, the objects will sort of speak for themselves and they'll speak to the audience. And I kind of kept that in the back of my head for a few months, and I just never got around to doing it because one, I took a break, and I was struggling to get inspired, so I decided to just walk away, take a break. And then when I came back, I picked up with what I knew best to get back on the track and get running, get the blood flowing. So that was street work, that was portrait photography. So yeah, I came back to the still life idea, and I reacquainted myself with what I had learned, and I was like, okay. And that all kind of aligned right before my wedding. So this was after I had proposed to my now wife, and I was still kicking about the idea of what does still life look like for me. And at that very same time, I was also doing I do a lot of research, folks. Some people sit all day and scroll through Instagram and memes and all type of shit. For me, it's just I'm constantly researching stuff on photography. So it could be a bit of a problem, but I enjoy going down these black holes. So one of the things I was also learning about was photo essays and what it means to really compound a series of images with a purpose and present them as a photo essay. And I wanted to do that. And then those two things sort of clicked for me, the photo essay and the still life. And it was the idea of, wow, I want to put together a photo essay that would be meaningful for my wife and myself, and eventually our kids throughout the years. And I really envisioned like a collage, a large collage on the wall in our house somewhere, and people walk past and be like, wow, this is dope. I can see you guys through these, you know, whatever this photo essay would be. And at first I thought about portraits, but I'm not really into self-portraits. And I had since took our engagement photos. I had a close friend do engagement photos of us, but I also did some photos here in the house. I guess you would call them self-portraits of my wife and myself. And they came out nice, but there wasn't enough of a story there for me, and I couldn't quite do it. And then one day we were talking about, okay, purchasing the wedding bands and whatnot. And then it clicked. Oh shit, I should start with the wedding bands, because at the time she had her engagement ring, and of course, because I am either progressive or a diva, I demanded to have an engagement ring of my own. So she got me an engagement ring. So we both had our engagement rings, and from that I said, okay, well, let's incorporate these engagement rings somehow to really start the story. So the idea was, I would go around the house and I would find a few objects that were a part of our daily lives that I could sort of put together some sort of way and build the story from there. And then it clicked, oh shit, still life. So let's take some of these objects, let's take our engagement rings, and let me see if I can tell that story of where we are now. And I would then revisit it after the wedding, and then where we are after the wedding. So this photo essay and this project took a few months, a little under a year, from engagement to after the wedding till I was able to shoot the shots. So this is what I have. So the first image is labeled "A Cup of Tea and Affirmations." So my wife is a psychotherapist, and she's a very I wouldn't say she's a very spiritual person, but she's a very aware of energy. And in the morning, I'll often wake up. Most days I wake up before her, but on the off chance that she wakes up before me, she's always got these YouTube videos playing of affirmations for the day. And affirmations are really just these positive thoughts that you say out loud, or you hear someone saying, and it reinforces a good energy, a positive energy for you to go out the day. Affirmations are not my thing. Affirmations, I'll hop on Call of Duty and get it all out, but I've come to respect what it is. So you may not see affirmations, or from what I just told you in this image, but I can lead you down a path of, she's also a person that, as a psychotherapist and a school counselor as well, she's always taking notes, because she, as she's learning about her clients, there's notes that she goes back and reference. Of course, that's how she monitors progression or regression. And here's her notebook. Here's the pen, and you see the cup for the tea, and you see the kettle in the back, and then you see, I don't know what to call that rock, but the spiritual among you would have picked it out right away. So you see all of these things here, and maybe it doesn't mean anything to you, but when I show her friends this image, they were very taken back. They sort of just paused and go, wow, I see her. And it was super dope for me to see them, because that was the goal. That was the entire goal of this concept. And the second image here is what I call Gentleman's Delight. If you guys follow me, you personally know me, you follow me on Instagram. This is a phrase that I throw around a lot, and because it's a very meaningful phrase to me. From the outside looking in, I've been called very materialistic by most, and it's not. I don't idolize material things. They're just, I find great value in things. I find great value in people and experiences. But I enjoy the finer things in life, which sometimes can be material things. So what you see here is, these are things that are very meaningful to me. There's aging Scotch, and this is just something you guys should try. So this is, in that bottle, there is, I think that's a 15-year-old Glenlivet with about 6 ounces of honey, and it's aging American oak, I think it is. And it's been in that bottle for about 6 months. So every few weeks I'll come by and shake the hell out of it. I assure you, I don't have any more for obvious reasons. I need to start it again. This, when you pour this out, it is a slice of heaven, and you will be drunk immediately. So yes, I do enjoy some fine whiskey. I do enjoy having a drink. I do enjoy social drinking and catching up with friends. And then you see the cigar. That is one of my favorite cigars, if not my favorite cigar, the favorite of my cigars. It's called the Liga Privada No. 9. Such an amazing smoke. and you see that represents me there because I like cigars. I don't like cigars because it makes you look like a boss. I like cigars because one, it is for someone like me who has a problem of constantly going. Cigars is a commitment to relaxation. I will go a million miles a minute if you let me, but smoking a cigar, lighting a cigar is a commitment to you being in the moment and committing to that time where you presently are. So cigars are often often where I do a lot of my thinking, and also my friends who smoke a lot of just man time and appreciating each other. And then you see my engagement ring there as well. You see a bracelet I quite adore. You see my Tudor, very nice piece. You see Creed, that is a very nice cologne, one of my signature scents, and my Fuji that I love so much. So yeah, when my friends see this image, they immediately know who that is. And I think this is when I was really starting to come into the idea, with the still life and the giving these inanimate objects the voice and screaming Ramon and screaming the name of my wife. So yeah, and these other two, the next one is called Notes for the Soul. That's, again, we see a different composition with her notepad. We see the engagement ring. The second ring that you see there is her grandmother's band, so that's something that's very near and dear to her. And you see the mood rock again. This other image is called Feeding the Soul. Again, you see my chain. Here's a Cuban cigar. I think Cubans are overrated. Let's not turn this into a cigar channel. But yes, I do have Cubans, quite a lot of them in a humidor. No, I don't think they're worthy of the hype because, you tell someone you can't get something and it starts to become legend. But Cubans are very good. But whatever. So there's a Cuban again. There's a Tudor. Off to the left, you see my Olympus. Served me quite well. Monster of a camera. Continue to love it. Wedding ring, or my engagement ring in the middle. And then there's a flask. You know what's in that flask. We spoke about that early. A man deserves to enjoy a drink on the go, which is oftentimes what I'll do when you see me out doing my street stuff. I'll have me a drink to keep it nice and toasty, get me nice and relaxed, and I'll light a cigar. And this is how I do my street stuff. Any of you that shot with me, you know this routine. And then there's that Xbox controller. If you want to see how much about gaming I am, you should check out our other channel, Ignorant Gamers. I am very much a gamer. What's this? I see you. I see you. You too. Oh no. Where are you going? Oh, the boomstick. The boomstick. Boomstick. Fuck your riot shield. Boomstick. Oh, enemy AC 130. The power of the dark side. In the recent years, I'd say I swapped the hobby of gaming for photography, but gaming is still very much there for me. So yeah, there's that. Coming down to the next image, it's called The Progression of Us. Very interesting composition. I chose to go portrait, but again, I have this was the series of images that were shot after the wedding. So there are now the wedding bands in the shot, and I wanted this image to be a transition between the first set and the set of images to come after. So this is why the engagement rings, both hers and mine, are the focal point of this shot, and then it trickles down to the wedding bands that we both share now. And then here's a composition. This I titled this image "The Composition of Us," and this image is all about. To the right, you'll see my set of rings, and to the left, you'll see her set of rings. The next image is called "Message to Her." So we have in our wedding bands, we have inscribed sayings. Mine to her says "Love conquers all," and it is actually a tattoo that I have on my shoulder, and it's a mantra that I continue to exercise in life. And then her inscribed to me says "To my beer." So this series of images, I think, as I continue to learn and go down the path of macro photography, product photography, composition of inanimate objects, learning still photography, off-camera flash, because these were all taken with the flash as well. I think until I can learn the technical mastery of these things and put them together in a meaningful way, I think this is a really nice start. And what I mean by that is, when photographers are starting out with learning, you'll often, a piece of advice you often hear is shoot your family members, or shoot your car, or shoot your house. Do something that's familiar to you where you feel comfortable, and you'll learn the camera. Learning the camera comes with that, versus going out and trying to climb a mountain with some sneakers. It's going to take you a lot longer. And for me, this is my version of that. I never let go of the lessons I learned early on. In fact, I think a lot of people make their journey longer than it needed to be because they kind of forget the concept of the lessons that they were introduced to when they first started out. I never forgot it. And this is what I'm telling you here. I'm using a story that means more to me than anyone else in the world, and my wife, of course, to really at the forefront of this project. And then all the technical stuff comes after. And I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally happy with what I have so far. I think I will, the third and final piece of this project for me, I think I'll come back in a year or two, and I will introduce another set, like very much so like the first set, where I'll take things that are important to us both at the time, because who we are 2 years from now is not who we are today when I'm talking to you about this, and a year ago when I first shot this. So I expect some of the things that are in that shot to be quite different than what they are now. Maybe it'll be a baby's pacifier, or maybe it'll be some baby Jordans. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Right? So as we build a family, the goal of this is to really have an entry when you come in a hallway in our home, that hallway transport you to the story and the richness and the depth of our journey together. And even sometimes, you come home and the remote's gone. God damn it, woman, where's the remote? And everyone's upset and we're fighting and fussing like jackasses about a remote. And I walk through to go to the bathroom, and I walk through that hallway and I see these images. I need these images to just stop me and go, wow. Look at the beautiful, look at the beauty that we have built together. And that's what this photo essay and this still life photography project means to me. But thank you for allowing me to share this story with you. I would love to hear the feedback that you guys would have on this series so far. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and hit the subscription button if you feel like sticking around. My name is Ramon, and I'm out of here. Peace.
I'm a motherfucking star boy.